Hello again, everybody! Zack Attack is here with my TNA Impact Wrestling review for this evening, Thursday, December the 12th, 2013. Alright, let me cut to the chase here. Once again, like I've been complaining about for the last couple of weeks, not a lot of action. Once again, 3 real matches this week. But like I said last week, and I'll say it again, not about the quantity of matches, it's about the quality. A decent action tonight on Impact, nonetheless. We would have the Feast of Fire match tonight. We would crown a new champion and a surprising return of a person I thought would never return to TNA. But first, let's get down to business. Of course, a lot running. Next week's big TNA title final, Jeff Hardy and Magnus, and of course also, like I mentioned, the Feast of Fire match. We would begin with Jamie Boaz surrounding himself by the Feast of Fire briefcases, and also by the Wheel of Dixie, was ready to spin it to declare the stipulation for the finals between Jeff Hardy and Magnus for the title tournament. If they're going to be fighting for a title, especially since AJ Styles hasn't really returned the real belt yet, since he sent the toy belt last week with a message saying, if you want this belt, Dixie, come get it in Georgia. Rockstar Spud was sent down from Dixie to get the belt. We would see him reoccurring throughout the evening in his misadventures to try to find AJ and the belt. With all of his wild rides, including a trip to a local pub, a bar, even singing a god-awful rendition of God Save the Queen by the Sex Pistols, he would eventually find AJ. I'll tell you the end result of that altercation in a moment or two. But like I said, as JB was about to spin the Real Dixie to determine that stipulation for the Hardy Magnus match, here comes Kurt Angle, fuming that he lost the opportunity to be in the final, getting screwed out of it by being cost in it by Bobby Roode interfering in the match with him and Magnus last week in the semis, in that last man standing match with Roode being the be-all end-all to cost Angle the opportunity for the title final. And Angle was in a rage. He threw the cases down and he even busted down the Real Dixie. Fuming. Didn't care about anything besides getting his hands and getting revenge on Bobby Roode. He wanted to redeem himself after losing to Roode at Bound for Glory and declining his Hall of Fame induction. And his world redemption was to go through the title tournament and advance to the finals. Since he didn't get there, he wanted to get his redemption a different way, by beating up on Bobby Roode. So Bobby Roode came out saying, Angle, you want a piece of me? Well, not tonight, boy. Listen, I don't have nothing left to prove to you, Angle. I am better than Angle. I beat you twice in a singles match at Bound for Glory and in a tag match. I'm better than you. I can beat you anytime, any place. I've done enough to you, Angle. I've worn you down, buddy. And Angle's like, I don't care, Roode. I'm going to get my hands on you. I even think I'm going to beat you. I can beat you twice in a night. I smelled something, and it smelt it. I smelt it, and it was dealt it. It'll be next week a final resolution. Roode and Angle in a best 2 out of 3 falls match. So as we get to that next week, it wouldn't be a Bobby Roode Angle feud without a fight breaking out. And eventually it did, with these two brawling all over the ring, with a lot of referees trying to separate them. And Roode got the last word by nailing Angle with a low blow after being separated from Angle by the referees. So at least Roode had a warning, a last shot with the low blow on Angle. And that's what he declared the match. Dixie made it official later on, so it will be Roode and Angle. Best 2 out of 3 falls next week at Final Resolution. It could end their feud, and if Angle does win, it could give him full redemption. And like I said, at least if he can't go for the title for redemption, at least he can try to get some sort of revenge / redemption by beating Bobby Roode in his best 2 out of 3 falls match. Wait till next week for that. But let's get on to this week in our first match, which would involve, speaking of revenge, Joe the Bullet gunning for revenge on his 2 bullies, Bad Influence, who exposed him last week with a storyline expose of him not being a lawyer for 13 years. But Eric Young would team up with Mr. Punk against Bad Influence tonight, and finally the real truth was exposed. That I was hoping would be exposed this week, or at least last week, but at least the real truth got exposed at the end of this matchup. So we have Punk and Eric Young against Bad Influence. Here goes Punk, all intent on revenge, trying to gain some early confidence as he and Eric Young dominated the early half of the matchup with an early double team fury. But once Mr. Punk was left all alone, without Eric Young to help him out, Punk's confidence sunk down yet again, and he had no confidence left in himself as he has been finally rocked by this whole ordeal that his mental capabilities finally broke down. Unfortunately, allowed himself to get his ass beat for the later half, double teamed by both Gaz and Daniels, isolating Joseph in their corner with the quick tags in and out. With him being pummeled, Eric Young was being upset and being disappointed that Punk wasn't winning this battle. There was letting his mental weaknesses drag him down, and all the negative talk finally break him down to his final imp's end. So Eric Young had a plan, he said, to try to get Joseph Punk to be confident in himself. Make him see blood. Because as we have seen with Mr. Punk, when Mr. Punk sees the vision of blood gushing down his face, even when Daniels and Ash were unsuccessful trying to make him go crazy with the blood, with them pouring on it, as we would see in the beginning intro video before the match started, Joseph Punk would see the blood and go nuts, or at least unleash the spirit of his brother Abyss. So Joseph Punk was put into a headlock by Mr. Young. Eric Young put him in a headlock, punching him up, making him open up the blood on his face. And indeed, Joseph Punk did find that spirit of Abyss, and he went nuts after he seen the blood, having his Jack Goodhide moment yet again by dominating over Kaz and Daniels, coming in with the big choke slam, the shock treatment, and in the end, falling an attempted boot by Kaz, got the black hole slam in a 1-2-3 victory for Joseph Punk and Eric Young beating up a Bad Influence. So at least Joseph Punk can finally end this feud with Bad Influence. I think it's a good ending for Joseph Punk, whether it's the storyline against Bad Influence, or in this case, a good ending for Joseph Punk, the character. Now that Joseph Punk finally gave revenge on beating up on his two bullies. Like I said, when it comes to the character might be done. Good ending for the character if the character ends tonight. And the character got full revenge on his bullies. Because after the match, Eric Young would expose the truth that I was hoping was going to be the truth exposed last week. That Joseph Punk has been looking for Abyss the whole time. That's why Joseph Punk came into TNA, looking for Abyss. Look no further than himself, that he is Abyss. I said it every week. For those of you who are still oblivious, slap you in the face. Joseph Punk is Abyss. Hello, he does the moves. And I've said this every week, that the guy played Joseph Punk / Abyss. He did a terrific job, and a terrific actor of playing a bumbling idiot for trouble. I will give him credit for withstanding this character for last year. But at least now with, Bad Influence beat up by Punk, I think it's a great way to end the character and the storyline and finally say goodbye to Joseph Punk, with him getting revenge on his bullies and bring back the monster, Abyss. So, there you go. Now over to the next scenario. Speaking of stuff I'm sick of seeing every week, over the next segment involving Pussy! EC3. Ethan Carter III. Now, if you can see my reviews, I've been bitching about the way his character's been developed on the storyline, about him being able to choose his opponents, or in this case, choose jobbers, and I've been sick of it. I've responded to some comments from last week's review. I can understand why they're bidding him up, and I understand about not wanting to push him too fast, only to make him lose a big match. Like, not putting him into the ring of fire really quickly, just to lose. I can understand that. But I'm sick and tired of him jobbing the same people. I was sick and tired of it. And he was sick and tired of it too. Unfortunately, since he was sick and tired of his jobbers, instead of picking on jobbers, he picked on other people. Last week we saw him beat up on a referee. What happened? I was like, come on. We got more ridiculous. He wanted to beat up on Jamie Boash. Now he's a pussy. But someone had balls to step up to a man who, storyline-wise, has no balls. Sting stepped up to the plate to finally give EC3 a pep talk that he needed a long time ago. And Sting proved my fucking point to a team, saying to Mr. EC3, you've done nothing in this business. You haven't stepped up your game. You haven't taken risks. That's been my whole point the entire fucking time. EC3 cannot be a big star by staying at the same level, or at least beating up the same level of competition every week. He needs to step up his competition. Yes, in many people's eyes, making him step up too quickly could cost him, but he needs to step up eventually. He needs to step up eventually. He cannot succeed by staying beating up on rookies, beating up on jobbers, like Gail Kim has done, which I'll get to her in a moment when we get to our open challenge. But EC3 had a choice from Sting. Have some balls and beat up on him, or have some other balls and go into the Feast of Fire match tonight. And either Cole decided to be half pussy, not to face Sting, but go into the Feast of Fire match tonight and go for an opportunity for a briefcase. Either a title shot for the TNA title, an X Division title shot, or a tag title shot. Or he could get fired. So there you go. We'll see how Mr. Carter does in the Feast of Fire match. At least he's finally going to step in the ring with some real competition. With the list of men in that matchup, the Feast of Fire match. At least EC3 finally going to step in the ring with Joe and Carter and Storm and Anderson. Well, we'll get to that in a moment. We'll get to Feast of Fire in a moment. But on to the thing I was alluding to. Gail Kim once again had an open challenge this week. But someone else had an open challenge of her own. ODB. We saw ODB kind of get involved in Gail's match last week by attacking Lady Tampa following Gail's another squash over the Laura Dennis character. Or wherever the hell she was beating up that week. And ODB's like, I'm issuing an open challenge to you, Tampa. Bam! Beating up on Tampa until Tampa and Gail started beating up on Miss ODB until a woman came to the ring. I thought at first, this woman who was familiar to us, I thought it was Taylor Hendricks at first, because I thought it was a dark-haired woman. But once the announcer said who it was, and I took a closer look at the announcer said her name, I was like, wow. Madison Rayne. And it was been like, where the hell's Madison been? Well, she briefly got fired earlier this year by announcing she was pregnant. I read a blog about her being pregnant, saying that TNA let her go. And I thought she was going to be hired back, but knowing TNA, they always hire people back. They always give people second chances in TNA. That's why they're going on bankruptcy. It may be sold to the WWE, be sold. Anyway, Madison came back, and now she's a face. We'll see how she does as a good girl. I've never seen her as a good girl before. I've always seen her as a heel. You know, the queen of TNA, she was a great heel. Got a lot of heat on her. She was a terrific heel. So I'll see how she does. Like, I've always seen these great heels turn into shitty faces. I'll be Del Rio. Santino. Go down the line of people who were great heels and become terrible faces. Randy Orton, one of them. Thank God Owen's back to being heel. But anyway, we'll see how Madison does as a face. But at least she got a little bit of a heel back by doing a little queen wave at the end of the segment. And we announced later on that Gail Kim and Tampa would team up against ODB and Madison at Final Resolution next week. So we'll see how Madison looks in the ring as she does outside of the ring. She looked great. You know, I like her new dye job. You know, these are like brownish hair before. I like her new dye job. And she looks great after having a baby. So congrats to Madison. Welcome back to Miss Rayne. See how she does in the match next week. Now, on with the TNA title tournament final. Of course, Dixie Carter would have both men, Magnus and Jeff Hardy, get into a ring into a face-to-face to get ready for the match next week to crown the new TNA champion. Of course, they will crown a new champion title withstanding. Of course, the end of Rockstar Spud's misadventures to try to find AJ Styles in Georgia end up with him at AJ's house. And AJ's like, Rockstar, I knew you were coming. All my friends told me this dumb little British douche was looking for me. to get this belt back from Miss Carter. Or Madame, as he kept calling him. And unfortunately, Rockstar Spires to go back to Madame with no belt. AJ thwarted his chances of getting the TNA title back to Miss Carter. So like I said, title withstanding or not, without the title, in the possession of Dixie Carter, she's still going to crown a new champion no matter what in the finals between Hardy and Magnus next week. So we had a little face-to-face with Hardy saying, Magnus, last year at the BFG series, I won it, and I became TNA World Champion. This year was a mixed year, but I'm going to end this year and go into 2014 as the new TNA Champion. And Magnus said, Hardy, to me, you're not the big guy. You're just another obstacle to go through to finally become the TNA Champ for the very first time. Stipulation for this match. Of course, since Kurt Angle kind of inadvertently ruined the real Dixie in our first segment tonight, Dixie said the only stipulation left to be named is a match called Dixieland. A escape the cage ladder match combination. And the winner of this match will, of course, represent her as her champion and travel for us her champion. And whoever wants to go in and take up on this invitation should take her up on it. What did I say? Someone would take her up on an offer. I'll just leave you with that. I'll set up a cliffhanger for the end of the video of who will accept, who would take up Dixie's offer as we would end Impact this evening. So let's tease you with that, and go on with our next matchup for the X Division Championship. Finally, X Division Championship action on Impact with the champion, Chris Sabin, accompanied by his somewhat girlfriend, but I think I've been teasing about them breaking up for a while, and I think they may finally break up after the ending of this matchup. Velvet Sky, accompanying Mr. Sabin, against former X Division Champion and World Champion like Sabin, the man who came up with the Plan C, the first man to cash in the X Division Championship for the World title opportunity, became World Champion to open up the doors to guys like Sabin to become World Champion, even though for a month. Of course, referring to Austin Aries. Now, these guys are X Division veterans, and these guys put on a decent matchup with, of course, both guys going tooth and nail into this matchup. With Aries coming in from the early start of the matchup with some big giant moves, the big clothesline and big punches, and big offensive moves to take advantage in the late half of the matchup. But Velvet Sky, who would indeed be not only the end result in the end of the matchup, but ended up being a distraction throughout the entire match, let alone the ending. Even Aries started fluid for a little bit, but with that distraction, Sabin took advantage of that little rendezvous and really took a beating beat up on Mr. Aries to take advantage in the later half of the matchup. So big forearms, or big clotheslines, setting up a big DDT move in the end until Aries thwarted that. But it was one thwarted altercation that would cost Sabin the matchup and the title, as we would see. Of course, if you've seen the title of this video, you already know. Sabin, going for an Irish whip, almost ran inadvertently into Velvet, who was coming in the apron. I think she was going to distract the referee or something. So with that inadvertent distraction with Sabin almost running into Velvet, Sabin got fed, walked into Aries, taking advantage of the distraction, with Aries nailing the brain buster at the numerous attempts. 1, 2, 3 victory. Aries is once again the new X Division Champion. Nice to see Aries back as champion. I've always liked him. 2 years ago when I started making these videos, I wasn't really a fan of him at first because I haven't seen him a whole lot on television since he came back to TNA in 2011. And I met him at a house show 2 years ago. I made a review of that house show for that November show 2011. My reviews on this channel. But he's proved a lot in the last 2 years. Of course, being the first man to cash in Plan C to become the World Champion, cashing in the X Division title for the chance to become World Champion, and became the World Champion. Is a great wrestler, great talker. Could be compared to CM Punk. Has been compared to CM Punk many times by many people, including myself. So nice to see Aries back in the title reign. And we'll see how Sabin breaks up with Velvet, and they end up breaking up but Saban didn't inadvertently blame Velvet just yet. Maybe in the rematch, he may blame Velvet eventually. But he may get an automatic rematch by making another chance at a rematch another way. Besides using his contract, he may find another way to get a rematch by injuring himself in the Feast of Fire match. Saban would enter and so would Aries. And those two men entering would enter a big stacked card in our main event matchup for those 4 briefcases in the Feast of Fire match. We'd have those two, Saban and Aries. Ethan Carter III, Samoa Joe, Hernandez, Chavo, Donner and Storm. Even Curryman was in. From Donner was in it. The other nerd, the other squash, the other jobber of EC3, Dewey Barnes. We'd also have Zeba Ion. And another man who was supposed to be in this matchup would come out first. Mr. Anderson. But before Anderson would try to get into the match, he would get sneak attacked from behind by Bully Rayne, who was once again inept on punishing Anderson after Anderson, of course, got wind of Ace and Eights a few weeks back. After Bully Rayne crashed the funeral, hinting that revenge is on his way for Anderson to pay for his sins after ending Ace and Eights, Bully Rayne lived up to that promise and attacked Anderson before he would enter this Feast of Fire match. And he would take out Anderson out of this match by taking him out the same way he has already done once before. Pile-driven Mr. Anderson on the stage. Like I said, he did it once before, he did it again. Bully Rayne did it again with the pile driver. So after the pile driver, he delivered some sort of real biblical message about good and evil, about sins, and Anderson paying for his sins. I thought this would be the perfect segue for a match between Bully Rayne and Anderson at Final Resolution next week. But if Anderson's still out from his storyline injuries from his pile driver, could be ready to write him out to see his wife give birth to their twins that Bully Rayne's been referring to every week. The match doesn't take place next week. It could be a match for the next TNA Impact Special, Genesis. Of course, naming Impact Specials over after pay-per-views that don't happen anymore. That's why you have this Final Resolution. You have Genesis next month. That could be Bully Rayne and Anderson. But that's January. On to tonight in the Feast of Fire match with the 4 cases on the line. To begin this match, we had a whole lot of flying around. It's like the equivalent to a Money in the Bank match. Without the ladders, all you gotta do is just climb the turnbuckles to get the 4 cases, to get one of the 4 cases. But like Money in the Bank, it's like a spot fest, especially with a lot of big spots to begin the match, with a lot of people flying. Even Curryman eliminating himself early. Because Curryman / Daniels, the same people that are oblivious to the fact that Daniels is Curryman, are the same people that have been oblivious to the fact that Abyss and Joseph Park are the same person. Which that revelation was finally revealed tonight, storyline-wise. That Abyss and Joseph Park are the same damn person, like I've been saying every week. Anyway, so we had a lot of flying around with Joe flew out the middle rope, so did Aries, Hernandez did a big splash, Storm did a big splash, a lot of guys were flying around. And after Joe's big splash, with everybody out of the ring, EC3, proving once and for all years that Pussy didn't really beat up on anybody. With anybody out of the ring, he took the opportunity to grab a case since no one was in the ring. He grabbed the first case. I would not be surprised if EC3 has the fire briefcase. Yes, I would like him to finally advance, but it's going to be TNA's way of saying, EC3, you're a pussy. You're not, like, we've seen you beat up jobbers. We don't think you are man enough to face up against the big boys. You are going to get fired. I would not be surprised if EC3 does get the fire briefcase. But being the nephew of Miss Dixie and D, and of course saying that the war needs us, he could get behind if he does get the fire briefcase. But of course, the fate of that briefcase and the others will be revealed next week at Final Resolution. So we wait to see what does the briefcase have in store for Mr. EC3. The other 3 briefcases will be grabbed by other guys with some great spots, including great performances from by Nerve Fonum and Dewey Barnes. I told you I read comments of last week, and one guy, the comment guy I've been commenting a lot, commenting back and forth with over last week's video, commented about the tag team division and knockouts division being lacking, which I agree to. At least the knockouts division is getting a kick in the ass for the return of Madison Rayne. I think the tag team division could get a good kick in the ass if Nerve Fonum and Dewey Barnes become a tag team. With their performance tonight, I think they got potential of being a tag team. We won him off as jobbers, but it could become a decent tag team. I would like him to be a tag team. They could, like I said, it could give a kick in the ass in a tag division. I would love it to become tag team. But they were dominating people, even kicking out Samoa Joe and being part of a devastating Tower of Doom move involving Hernandez and also Gunner in a Tower of Doom move later on in the matchup. The other briefcase would be retained, as Zima Iron will retain the second briefcase. I think Zima Iron will get the X Division title shot. He cannot get a tag team title shot. Hello, he is a DJ for the tag champs, pro bands. And of course, Zima Iron is a former X Division champion. So it could, if you haven't seen Zima a while in a few months, he's been injured for a while and he came back as a DJ. So he could make a big comeback by winning the X Division championship if he ends up getting the X Division briefcase. The third briefcase will be retained by Chavo with a little help from Hernandez. Same scenario with Chavo and Hernandez being former tag team champions. Would not be surprised if they end up getting the tag team title briefcase. So that would leave the final briefcase. And I knew that it would come down to some sort of incident involving Gunner and Storm. We've seen their problems fuel up for the last few weeks, and I think we may have seen the final nail in the coffin of their tag team relationship and friendship as well. So they got inadvertently ran into each other throughout the match, whether it was Storm running into Gunner inadvertently by trying to hit somebody and somebody ducked and hit Gunner, or being tossed into Gunner inadvertently. It all come down to the final spot of the match. After Storm delivered a big super kick to Joe with all the competitors out of the ring as he thought, Storm started climbing the final turnbuckle to get the final briefcase. But as he was doing that, Gunner nailed Storm from behind, taking Storm out of the ring, and Gunner ended up grabbing the final briefcase. I would not be surprised if Gunner got the World Heavyweight Championship briefcase. After all he's done by inadvertently screwing Storm out of every opportunity, starting these problems between these two for the last few weeks, with Gunner inadvertently screwing Storm out of the TNA title tournament a few weeks ago by throwing in the towel in his match against Wood, inadvertently costing them an opportunity to maybe win back the tag titles, but gave himself disqualified last week in their match against the Bullmans, and he could finally give the final insult by screwing Storm out of a briefcase that would contain a possible one title match. I would not be surprised if it is the one title match to really put the nail in the coffin of this relationship between Gunner and Storm. Like I said, the fate of those briefcases, of whoever's holding them, of who's fired, who has those shots at the titles of the TNA title, the X Division and tag titles, those decisions, those futures will be revealed next week. But we're in Impact with, like I said, that Dixie Carter said that to the two men in the title final to take up on an offer of teaming up with her and aligning themselves with her. One man may end up taking up on an offer. Jeff Hardy would come into her office to an Impact. I'm not be surprised. I bet you one of the guys will align themselves with Dixie Carter to become her champion and turn heel. Hardy's done it before. Hardy's aligned himself with the head of the company. Hello, he joined a Moto 10-10-10, bound for goal in 2010. Aligning himself with Bischoff and Hogan to form a Moto, a 10-10-10. He turned heel with that weird belt. And that's when he was high as a motherfucker. So there you go. Someone will align with Dixie to determine the TNA title holder next week in the finals, the Dixieland match. Madison and Hardy, final resolution. We got Angle and Wood, best round 3 falls next week. And return to Madison Rayne in action. Teaming with ODB against Tappa and Gail Kim. that is it for my TNA Impact Wrestling review for the evening. I'll see you all later with that in mind. You've all been attacked by the review from Zach. Thank you all very much for watching. Have a great weekend, everybody. Yeah.